Welcome to Comfortable Conversations. Today I have our creative director from Honeydew, Fab. How you doing, Fab?
I'm good. Sorry, I had to make sure I got that in.
Okay. Where is it from?
New York.
Oh. See what I know.
It's fine. We're happy to educate
the people.
Yeah.
Educate the people. So today, y'all, we just there's a few things I wanted to chat about. First, I think I was telling you, Fab, this morning I did my morning meditation, went for a walk. If you don't know, of course, as we're going into winter and the holidays, they already started putting up the lights around the trees.
I saw Santa in CVS yesterday.
Yeah, I'm like, why y'all starting already? Why can't we be in the season that we're in and just be I don't want it to be I know Halloween's coming up. We're in October, but the Thanksgiving and the Christmas, y'all are reaching. I don't want to look at Christmas movies yet. I don't want to hear Christmas sounds. Don't bring out the red and white and the Santa yet. Can we be here?
They said that Mariah Carey is defrosting right now.
Yeah, she even had to. She was like, "Y'all, it's not time yet." Come on.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, she did a little post that was
last year they started really early, and they gave her November 1st. I think November 1st was the thing, and I'm like, first of all, Halloween. I don't even have a costume yet.
I got nothing.
What are we doing?
So my friend is having a Halloween party, and this is the first year in a few years I've gone. When I lived in Chicago, loved Halloween, doing the whole bar crawl thing. That was an era, right? Now I'm I'd like to be in bed by a certain time.
You're a toddler. You're trick or treat, 6:30.
I think the time is perfect.
In bed.
Who am I? Who have I become? I have no children.
You're becoming your younger self.
So that's where I am. But I do have a Halloween party. I was going in the Rolodex of do you want before I always used to do the hoe costume. So I'm also what are we gonna be?
I'm about to just put a Clover cheerleading suit on and call it a day.
Bring it on.
Yes.
The Clovers from Bring It On.
Yeah, I've always wanted to. I just feel I haven't yet because it became so mainstream. Every year it's everyone's Clovers. And I typically like to, do a little bit more, but I'm exhausted. I have decision fatigue. Let me just order a Clover.
Because people, you can either order it, if you wait last minute and go to all the stores, they're stupid packed on Halloween. I feel they're stupid packed before Halloween.
Amazon. Thank you so much. I'm ordering it online.
I was a cat one year, and then another year I was Batwoman. I always loved a cape. That was my thing.
I love a cape. It's crazy.
Yeah. I probably, it just said she walked in the room, and I'm let the cape flow. I was a vampire one year. I was the devil one year. That one was fun because it was more seduction than it was the devil.
Not Satan.
Yeah, I wasn't Satan. I was a seductive devil.
Yeah, a devilish.
It was a sexy devil. That one was fun. And then that's when I retired costumes. I went out with the bang.
Wow. I mean, how can you top evil?
You can't. And I think, I forgot who I told her. It was a guy at the time I was dating. He was not you, the devil. That's not okay.
So
I can't
that's
approve.
So funny. Last year for Halloween, that just triggered a memory. My friend Lauren was a devil at one of the parties. It might have been DJing, whatever. And this man was calling her the devil the whole time. Were you there?
Because I was there.
No, it was you.
I was it was you. She did a really good devil, y'all.
It was you. It was you. And every time you see her now, you call her the devil.
The devil. I was she did a
you see.
She did a phenomenal devil.
It was you.
I was
crazy.
Oh my God. She really decked that out. I was girl. Not you, the devil.
I'm screaming that it was you.
Yeah,
that was
me.
fun.
Yeah. We were there. I was there.
It was you.
Because I didn't dress up, but I came to where you were, and she showed up.
There were 2 times after that you called her the devil, like post Halloween.
Because
like,
I
didn't. You the devil?
I sometimes have a hard time remembering people's names, but I remember moments, and that is the like inception moment that can't get out of my head that she was.
You gotta be careful what costume you pick.
So we'll figure out something. But yeah, so this morning I went for a meditation. Like crisp, it's so crisp in the morning. It was a nice like 60, put on your jacket, and like they've lit all the trees. And so I'm like feeling this moment of like we are like trees rooted. And there was this thought that came to me like, man, aren't you so grateful that like when you were about to uproot again, you didn't know that God had already like firmly planted you. So you were no longer a sprout. You're like a tree, like you feel the tree. And years ago, I used to like feel like a tree when right before my brother passed. I remember in yoga, I had connected with tree pose so deeply that like you could, if we were out at an event and we took pictures, I would do tree pose. And there was this girl who was like, why every time I see you, you want to do tree pose? And I didn't know my spirit was like rooting itself. Yeah. And so when my brother passed, I was like, I get it. Like storms will come, your leaves will fall. You'll have winter, summer, fall, spring, but you can withstand any season, any circumstance. You're deeply rooted. And so once again, like this tree came back to me because I feel like a lot of people don't know this last season that I went through. I almost gave up honeydew. You were one of the people like, bet, just let me know when you're ready again. Because I had sent Fab a text that was like, okay, I'm dissolving everything, just letting you know I brought you on the team, but this is what's happening. Fab texts back. I'm on a walk crying. Fab texts me back. All right, just let me know when you want to get started again. I had nothing in me to say, girl, I just said I don't.
You're like, I'm spiraling.
It's like, I'm not getting back started. Like, this is the end. But then I didn't have that in me to go back and forth. And I was like, finish your walk. If honeydew is for you, like, it'll be for you. And it's funny because everything always comes full circle. Like, I was on the elevator at my building and got on one day. And one of the neighbors, they don't know me. I don't know them. And they just said honeydew. And I like looked up and I was like, God is so funny. Like you never know where the messages are. And slowly it started to come back. So I'm always like grateful. Today was that day where I was like, when you thought you were going to run and uproot and have to resprout, God had planted you so firmly.
Now look at you.
So firmly, so deep that I was just like, there was such tears of joy. And like where I meditated at Clyde Warren, right in the center stage, because I like, weirdly enough about me, I like to meditate in massive spaces so that I can make my mind expand to that capacity versus like our little selves. Like we'll see that a mat. And if you can fill up the mat, you can fill up anything, right? And so then you get in arena spaces that are empty, where when you think about Clyde Warren, thousands of people visit, and I'm over here in the morning when nobody's there, like, let me expand my capacity. And I was crying. It's like, we are trees.
We're trees.
We are deeply rooted.
Some people have to take drugs to get there. That's nice.
I live in a euphoric space. Yeah. Like, if you know me, you know, which you know. I live in a very euphoric bliss. Like, I'm kind of high all the time, but I'm definitely not.
Yeah.
So.
It's nice.
It's a nice trip.
It has its perks. Yeah, it has its perks. It's not foreign to me at all. I'd be the same way. We were talking about where we're at astrologically in the space, and it is the end of an era, and I'm really excited.
I feel the end of the era that I keep, like, one of my best friends, I'm like, James, what's coming next? Like, I feel it in my soul. It's so amazing. Like, I can't even not be. I'm like, yeah. have goosebumps. It's exciting.
Yeah.
So.
And not in a way that like feels, at least for me, it doesn't feel like, which is, okay. So it doesn't feel like, when you're about to go to college and you're like, oh my gosh, like this is a whole new chapter, but maybe there was like some anxiety around it. This doesn't feel like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like I'm about to I'm going up a roller coaster.
Yeah.
It feels like more in alignment.
A divine like knowing.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, like for certainty, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's partially because for since 2008, what's the math on that? But like the work has been happening, like the lessons have been lessening, life has been lifing, and it's like almost like a nice little reward. So for people that don't know, Pluto has been in Capricorn since 2008. And that is like 2008, that was like when Obama first got elected, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
We are at an era.
That's what I'm saying.
Like
That's what I'm saying. Everything. It touches everything. And so think about yourself like in 2008, where the state of the world was, what has happened since then. And now Pluto will be transitioning into Aquarius in November. It's like,
I'm an Aquarius.
Are you?
Yeah. So I'm also like, thank you, baby.
It's your time.
It's going to be an amazing era. I feel like it's my time. I think I've been saying I feel such in my God space, like in every facet of my life. Like, and so you posted like, it's a new era. And I was like, I've been saying that these past few days and like feeling it. And you're feeling it as everything you're stepping into as you've been teaching more yoga.
I know. And it's so crazy because, not crazy, it's really divine because literally a month ago I was like, I want to teach more yoga. Well, and then now I am.
We can backtrack on that because Fabian is super dope. I think when she, like, if you've ever been out with Fab and she introduces herself, I think it's the best thing ever when you get to say, like, my name is Fab and people look like that's it. Fabulous. Yeah, that's her name. Fab. Like, gotta love it. It's kind of dope. But also, I feel like your era is like here. First of all, my girl is the Kaleidoscope Park yoga instructor. Yeah. Honeydew is out there weekly. So we're going to snap about that. But you also have this weekly yoga that you're teaching, rooftop yoga. Mm-hmm.
Little sunset flow.
And I want to talk about like how we sometimes have to pave our own lane because like the wellness community is not always welcoming. Mm-hmm. And I think there were moments that you kind of experienced that for yourself. Mm-hmm. And we had this conversation where I was like, well, you got this space and you said you wanted to do yoga in it. So just do it in it.
Yeah.
Versus like allowing other people to give you the opportunity that you already can give yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I think with moving to Dallas from New York is like kick the back door down energy.
Wait, what?
No, you never heard that. So like essentially like, whoosh. Yeah, literally. But like, okay, I'm going to go through the front. I'm going to be respectful and be like, oh, like whose establishment is this? And
no, I'm not that at all.
Well, yeah, because you're also like Chicago. It's the same. The North is a little like,
yeah.
What's going on? Okay, cute. Oh, no, you're not going to let me just walk in. We're not going to collaborate. Cool. I'm running through the back.
and I'm going to mess this up. And I'm like, throwing don't you worry.
Or same energy. I don't know if you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm, Larry David, where he does, when he created the Petty coffee shop across the street, like that type of energy. And so I feel like that has a little bit of my experience in Dallas has been that like I've gone to like, you know, the places that I really admired and, you know, wanted to teach. And then it just didn't work out. And it was like, what am I going to do? Just now I'm not going to teach? Like, no, like yoga should be accessible and you can do yoga anywhere. We can literally do it right now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So once I got out of my like own way about, the ego of it all. It was
Yeah.
like, which I'm not foreign to. Like, even in New York, when I started DJing, I was DJing my own parties to practice first, instead of like, walking around begging for a gig. I'm just not that person. Like, my parents are not those people. And so I was like, cool, I'll start my own shit.
And now you've started your own shit. Honeydew, we've it's opening doors as well.
Mm-hmm.
Last weekend, teaching at this amazing grand opening park.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always someone who's like, I look at the metaphor of like lines when you get somewhere and people stand in a line, but I've always had the mindset like, why y'all standing in line? And who told you to stand in line?
Yeah.
And I don't want to stand in the line.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to stand in the line, and I'm not going to stand in the line.
Right. Y'all can stand in line if you want to.
Yeah, and so you also can be mad when I go right to the front, because it's having the audacity. Like, you have to have the audacity to say, like, I refuse to have to wait when I know what I bring to the table. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go. Mm-hmm. And if this space is meant for me, cool. If it's not meant for me, cool. So in moving to Dallas from Chicago, and like just the culture of how I think a lot of my peers moved, and even people who were my mentors, always reminded me like, what's for you is for you. Yeah. And you don't have to do it the way other people tell you. And I think sometimes people are stuck in someone else's example of the blueprint versus just being like, you're here to co-create with life, and life is going to like unfold so beautifully if you just tell it exactly what you want and how you want it.
Yeah. I call that the Dame Dash era of people. This is like I've coined this. That era of like, especially creatives, that time when like Dame Dash, like Jay, like when that era of like journalism, like all those, like, what generation is that? The one before us. Sorry. But they not all of them, but that like energy of essentially gatekeeping, because they had to fight tooth and nail, or because they started something that was completely fresh, and then bring that energy to the next generation of people that wanted to get in, and hazing them and like all of that stuff. No, like none of that. Like, that's not how this is supposed to work. And it worked for a while. And I think that it created the millennial culture of, oh, you're not going to let me do this? I'm going to do it myself over here. And I'm going to build it. Like some of the other podcasters that have been on this podcast, like Theo.
You're going to do it there. Like, listen, you literally start to realize it's so doable and you can do it. But when you talk about like gatekeeping, I remember there was this girl who a friend shared her with me. And I was just trying to connect. And I think I asked about like, does she have a connection with a restaurant or something? And she shared like, I don't share my contacts. And for a second, I was taken back, because I'm like, I'm such a giving person. I'm so open. If you reach out to me, like anybody knows, like I will share any and everything with you, because I want you to win in such a way. And I don't look at anyone as competition. Like
it's not taking away from your blessings.
Exactly. But like in that moment, my ego was like,
that's crazy.
Girl, bye. But then I also had to like see her for where she was, because I was like, you learn that from someone because of you've been burned. And I do meet people who are like, they've seen someone come in, try to, finesse or like take what they've created. But I always giggle. James, James from New York. I think he said this, like anybody can come in and like steal a concept or an idea. Like it's human nature. Yeah. But they can only get so far because they don't have the blueprint to continue. So they got to come back to like figure out
100%.
How do I do X, Y, and Z next, but you've already burned that bridge that you like, you can't get to where you're going. You can't make this be amazing because I was the secret sauce and the blueprint is in my head, not yours.
Correct.
So you're welcome.
And also like the spirit attached to the person is not, you cannot duplicate that.
Yeah.
And I think like, I'm sure you've seen it when like as wellness has become more trendy, you start seeing like, there's like, I feel like a lot of people are talking about this on TikTok too. Like the mean girls turning into the wellness girls.
Yeah.
And
wellness is trending, but
which is great, I think.
Like wellness is trendy in a way that it's like that clickbait and it's like the next thing, just like Pilates or whatever, or run clubs. But what sustains you? Yeah. Like are you just riding the next fad, or are you really in this for what it's for?
Yeah. And are you practicing what you preach? And are you kind?
Yeah.
Like, is your spirit
but you can
genuine?
Feel it.
Yeah, for sure. But some people can't. Like sometimes it's a little manipulative or tricky. And that's why discernment and finding your own journey is very important as opposed to just following somebody else.
Yeah. Ghetto. Some people be ghetto, man. That was the word I wanted to use today.
Excuse me.
Y'all, because Fab knows, like, we chat about this kind of stuff all the time and just, like, experiences that we have. So I just, when you bring up kind, like I used to want to be so nice, and she's so nice and she's so sweet.
Well, there's a difference between kind and nice.
Yeah, one day I was like, I wish to be kind. I don't have to be nice.
Yeah.
Like nice just is like this sweep it under the rug versus, and people are just really unkind, and you have to start addressing that. And like having a business has taught me so much self-discovery and self-exploration that like, when we're sitting down thinking about the brand identity and everything, this is all stuff that I have to be so intentional with. And you can't fake that. I think that is the thing when you think about fads and trends, like you can only fake it so far till it will expose you. Like I always say, the lie will come out.
Yeah, every time.
But also let the work do itself. Like let the work do its thing on you.
How do you feel about the phrase "fake it till you make it"?
I hate it.
Oop.
You know I hate it.
I didn't even roll off my tongue.
I hate it. I hate
say more. Brene Brown, say more.
I hate, like, you can't fake the work. And I think what people mean by fake it till you make it typically is like you're still growing and you have to give yourself that grace. But from what I've learned in my experiences, honesty and like standing firmly in my light and who I am has gotten me more places than faking like, I have all this together. Okay, but then how is someone supposed to help you? Do you want help, or do you want to keep, like at some point you have to realize like, how far do I fake it till I make it? And then when I make it, I faked it. What part did you fake?
Right.
And now you got to like backtrack.
What's the cutoff?
What's the cutoff? And I just stopped. Like, I was like, I can't, it doesn't work. It doesn't help you. Like, I think you can fake it till you make it. Like, if you're having a bad day and you're like, put on clothes, but that's an entire different thing than you're like faking a mood. You're trying to shift your mood.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call it faking. I would just call it like pushing through.
Yeah.
I think what people want that quote to be is like practice progress into perfection. Like, okay, I don't like Karate Kid.
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, I'm not there yet, but I'm going to keep going. I'm going to wax on until I can.
Wax on. Wax up,
until I'm floating. But then other people are like, they're teetering that pose or.
Yeah. And that's what you're talking about. I can't, I did it. That's why I think I know for certainty I can't, because you reach a point that you're like, I've made it to this place, but I need substantial help, or this, like I'm desperately needing X, Y, and Z. But then you've also put this wall up or this barrier that it's like, if you do share where you're at, you feel so like, kind of, like I said, exposed, that you're like, this is a whole part of you that's moving away. And that my last big season of like healing was that, of like, stand in your light. Like, how can you, even if it's hard, even if it's really, really vulnerable for you to say, like, hey, this is where I am. When I tell you that embracing I've gotten, the more that this has brought me more investment, more people, like better rooms, bigger, better, greater, all of that, because I was just like, hey, this is where I'm at, and this is the help I need, and this is what I'm good at, but I'm not good at this, but I can get better, and I'd like to get better. And I remember it was a VP of this bank who was like, most people never will sit down and have the audacity to say where they really are, Jazz. And he's like, we need more entrepreneurs like you. And I was like, well, failing don't feel fun. So you got to figure out something. Like, why would I keep on the path that I was on when I'm like, having a business is hard. Yeah. Being 2-3 years into business and you have certain goals and expectations and they're not coming through, like, something has to change, and it's me. So, listen.
Something has to change, and it's me.
Yeah, girl. But hey, it's the work that happened in that season, like standing in your light, bearing your soul, standing like naked, your soul naked, unclothed, not a mask on, is probably the best feeling in the entire world. To be like, this is who I am, love her, love it here. And that's why I think I'm in a new era, because I'm like, ooh, she has arrived. There was, since 2008, work, like grief happening, pain, loss, learning relationships, learning friendship, learning accountability, learning how to be consistent, persistent, learning discipline, habits. Like, all of that work has been happening within me.
Yeah. I secretly just did the math. It's 15 years. Yeah.
This is the moment where
15
like,
years.
Hey Siri, what's
it's like half of our lives.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I love it. I love it.
We have a few minutes left.
Is Fab interviewing me, y'all?
I know.
Is that comfortable conversation?
Just a little.
This episode was a little bit different, but I love it.
Yeah. What are our like our last thoughts?
I'm going into Friday, like this weekend. Oh, I'm moving. I'm moving this. Well, you knew that, but the people don't know that. I'm moving this. That's why it feels like a new era, because I spent the last a few years in my apartment. And like lately I've been going around the apartment like, oh, I love this about you. And I love this about you. And I love that about you. And it's like this space that like so much inner work happened. Like that. There is this tears of joy that's like so exciting. When I tell you, like, you remember when I broke up with my ex, and I like for months would wake up at 3 a.m., cry, put all of my shades down every single night, and then wake up in the morning, not get out of bed till almost 9 o'clock. And then just like pray to get the day over with. And like by 4 o'clock, and this was like in the winter, so it gets dark earlier. Yeah. So by 4 o'clock it's dark, but then I'm like, thank God I made it through another day. Like I was in such a depression that it was like, why is this the only thing I can think about? Why do I
Yeah.
why did I have to heal? I knew healing, I mastered healing, and then it became this thing that I was like, you had mastered healing. Like there's no mastering healing. It's an ing. Like
maybe it's for life.
It's like this is forever.
This is literally forever.
But now like I prayed to be out of that season, and the work that season did on me, I'm so grateful. It's like you see the smile on my face right now because I'm like, my heart, my soul, my mind is like, thank God we picked, like you were able to get up off the floor every day. And when I say stupid cries, I mean like,
is that snot ugly
on the
tissues everywhere,
like on your knees, like, God, where are you? Like, where are you right now? Because your girl needs a hug. It needs, and what's funny, I always got it. Like seconds later, I would get a text where somebody would be like, hey, I was just thinking of you. And then I would be like, it would take me a minute to be like, I don't know how to respond to this because this is kind of like creepy that it happened that fast.
That's when you're screaming for like, oh, I need the blessing. And then you're like, well, I wasn't ready yet. I wasn't ready to move on from the morning, but thank you anyway.
But I'm so ready. So I feel like I always share that with people because whatever you're in, it's gonna, the other side of that, the work it's doing on you is so meant. Like when you're in it, you don't even, you're like, I hate it here. This is the worst. But if you just keep going and keep stepping.
Yeah. I would also like to say, and this is like probably like a big therapy you don't want to hear. Not you, but like people don't want to hear this, but like stop identifying with your suffering. Because I think that it's very easy to like have this like experience, or even if you've been suffering for a while, and it's almost like all you know.
Yeah.
You're almost like scared to like learn yourself outside of suffering.
Yeah. And I had to do that. The song that, there's always a song for me that comes, and I think it was the T.I. and Justin Timberlake, Dead and Gone.
Oh.
And all of a sudden, like that song, I heard it, and it's like the old me's dead and gone. And I felt that. I was like, she can't live in this next season. She can't, like, all of this is here because every lesson has to come to surface because you're about to pass the test. And I was like, I didn't know that was buried under there. What's going on? Like, oh God. And I still like grieve. Like I was telling my friend James the other day, like, man, I feel myself letting it go because there's this little moment of grief where you're like, and I think you shared this, like grief, but joy is still in that space.
Yeah. Like, grief and joy can exist simultaneously.
Yeah. And that's what I would feel. I'm like, I know I have to let you go, and I let you go with such peace, but there's this joy in the let go of like, I feel lighter. Thank you for showing me that lesson.
Yeah. It's acceptance.
Maybe life has done some things on your girl.
Man. Same. It's 10:18.
Yeah, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a blast, Fab. We'll be back next month.
Man, yeah. Like a little monthly check-in.
Oh, yeah. What do you have to share right before we leave? What, like, sweet serendipity can you share with the people from Honeydew? Like, what are you excited for next? Like, what's next?
Honestly, just like I feel like there's momentum right now, which is nice, and there's like clear direction too. So I'm really just excited to see like the expansion of it all.
Yeah.
And that's like within Dallas and beyond too.
Yeah, because you know we're global.
Her.
What'd you say? You're.
Oh no, your is a greeting. It's not a goodbye.
Shame.
It's okay. People mess up namaste too, so it's fine.
Oh my God.
Screaming.
That was fun, Fab.
Cute.